Greetings, everyone. Corey here again. And it's that time of the week again. It's time for another midnight review. And this week I went to go see Expendables 3. So, first off, if you've seen any of the Expendables, you know what to expect. It's pretty much the 80s and 90s live action, shoot 'em ups, pretty much. It's the action movies and all their glory coming back again this time around. And that's what they always say. There's always a saying about every 20 or 30 years, stuff gets recycled. It always comes back, and you can see that right now. There's a lot of '80s style that's coming back, and it only makes sense for that to happen with the movies. So Stallone, of course, made a third one. This one is PG-13, so there's no blood. That's pretty much the only thing I could think of that stopped it from getting an R. Which there's still blood. It's just not an abundant amount of blood like the previous two. So it's definitely lighter on the blood. But still, it's still pretty gruesome on some of the shots. People still get shot up. They still show it. Some of the kills are pretty gruesome. But yeah, it is a little toned down, which I actually like this movie because the way that it got PG-13 makes me hopeful for a very good Deadpool movie. That's just something that I was just thinking of while watching this movie, because this movie is pretty. It's pretty action packed. There's a lot of action, and people getting shot. It's the impacts you can still see them. There's just no blood splat, which of course they just don't put it in. Um, but yeah, it's still pretty crazy, and there's still a little bit of cursing in there, just because they always say you get one, you get one F word, and that's it. So you could any more and you get R rating, I guess. But yeah, so pretty much, I mean, there's a lot of actors here. I mean, it's a lot of the old school, action heroes, and it's fun to see them, of course, just like all the other ones that you expect. It feels a more cleaner, I should say, as far as how it's shot, how the action's shot, how and I'm not just saying it's cleaner because yeah, there's no blood and stuff, but it just feels more streamlined. Like they really got a nice groove going on now with these movies, and it's pretty cool to see. And in this one, it is pretty different because the new guy is actually four new guys. Well, three new guys and a girl, who's a badass girl, of course, but they don't get killed. Spoiler: they don't get killed. Which, of course, in the previous two, whenever they had a new guy, it's always a young kid. He gets killed, but in this one, it's different. I could see this franchise, the Expendables. I mean, it could continue on forever, pretty much. There's always going to be a need for these, over the top action movies, and this is definitely one of them. And the way that they kind of did it in this one is where they brought in four new people, which now the original, the original Expendables are pretty much five. So they're starting to, fill in the ranks again. But also, while they're doing that, they could also replace them, slowly over time. So, within, say, by Expendables 5, they could pretty much have an all-new cast, maybe a couple of the old, veterans in there just to, help with the story a little bit. Kind of like how Arnold Schwarzenegger and Harrison Ford are kind of in this one, where, they're just like the old war horses, pretty much. They're just the veterans, and they're just helping out. But yeah, it's but it's pretty interesting to see how this franchise could go on forever. Pretty much, I could see it. Because the action's always fun to watch. The story's pretty good. Um, Besides that, it's what you expect. We've seen the first two. You pretty much expect the same thing, but this is more streamlined. Mel Gibson, of course, is the bad guy in this one, and I actually do like him a little bit better than Van Damme and shit. What's his other name? I mean, Stone Cold, of course, was the henchman in the first one, but he wasn't the main boss guy. But still, like, I like Mel Gibson's character in this one. He plays up the crazy part, which that's kind of what he's been personally. That's what everyone's been kind of saying about him. He is crazy, and he plays it up pretty well on here, so it's pretty entertaining. Um, but yeah, stories just like the other ones. Bad guys get screwed. Unscrew yourself, pretty much. With a big action scene at the beginning and at the end, and a couple of mini, fights here and there. it's pretty cool some of the technology and how they're kind of switching it up to as well because the new, cadets pretty much they bring in a few new, tech, where previously they just went old school and they kind of call it out. Um, all the sayings that you want from the previous movies and stuff, the catchphrases and stuff, make a comeback, of course, but they're not as hammered in, as the first and second one. They're a little bit more streamlined. They feel like they're not just saying them just to say them. They actually kind of seem like they fit. What else? Music's good. I mean, they have a couple oldies and stuff like that. There's really not too much to it. The CG is better. It's not as cheesy looking, I guess, but it is here and there, which I guess kind of plays to its old school style of how it's an old school action movie in the 21st century, pretty much. What else? All the heroes. Yeah, it's a fun movie. Pretty much. It's a good movie. It's definitely fun if you want to watch an action movie. With a lot of these old school actors that you might have seen it previously. So definitely check it out if you have any interest at all in it. I do want to say that I went with a couple friends and we were in one of the big theaters and there was maybe about 20 people in the whole theater. Uh, whether people are just waiting until the weekend or I don't know what, but it was pretty dead. So I don't think it's gonna make too much money this weekend, but it should make enough at least to warrant a fourth, of course. But yeah, a little shorter review. So I believe next week is Sin City: A Day to Kill For, which I am really looking forward to. I've always loved the Sin City, um, the Sim City, the Sin City franchise, and it's kind of interesting for the next one because Frank Miller literally, made a whole new story that's not in the comics for this one, the next one next week. So until next week, guys, later.